I know you've probably been asked this question a million times, but I'd like to know, how did you get involved in this project?
Well, I'm a scientist. I studied physics, and then when I moved to New York, after my PhD, I realized that I wanted to do something on TV and with media, because I was discouraged from doing science growing up because I was a woman, and so I really wanted to encourage and inspire other young girls that they can do STEM and become engineers and scientists. And so when I heard that there was an opportunity to do a TV show, I got super excited, and I went and I interviewed, and then I got involved in this project.
And how long have you been involved in this project?
So we just finished filming our third season of Outrageous Acts of Science, which is coming to the US in February of 2015. And so for 3 years I've been doing that.
Wow. And you were saying you wanted to show young women that they could be scientists and
Yes.
and chase these kind of dreams. Have you come across young women, girls come up to you and said that you inspired them to go into science?
Absolutely. I think it was very important for me because I was discouraged from becoming a scientist back in Mexico where I grew up. It was very important for me to spread the message that you can follow your dreams and you can achieve anything you want. And especially, if people are against your dreams, you can even take that to empower you and that contrarian, and be sort of strive to achieve even beyond what your surrounding thinks that you should achieve. And so in all my track, I've tried to help different initiatives like Technolation Challenge and Girls Inc., where we take high school girls from underserved communities and we teach them science and technology. And a lot of them have graduated and have changed their mind completely about not only their confidence about what they can achieve in life, but also about what getting excited about science. And so they're very grateful that we have acted as role models for them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. And it sounds like you were saying earlier that in Mexico you were not encouraged to follow this
Correct.
path. What kept you going on the path?
I often wonder what kept me going. And I had parents that were very supportive for every aspect of my life except for studying physics. They were like, that's crazy. They didn't know a physicist in Mexico growing up, so they thought I should just go back home and be a traditional woman and just get married and have kids, which is very common in the community that I grew up in, and I didn't want to do that. And so it was harder for me because when my colleagues during the PhD program would call their parents for support when things got hard, their parents were like, you can do it, you're going to be amazing, whereas my parents were like, I told you so, just come back home. So it made me be more stubborn and grow even bigger, and like self-confidence so that I could push through during the hard times.
That sounds really impressive. Wow.
Thanks.
I'm so happy to hear that you're giving back to the community and it sounds like doing some mentoring
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I guess getting back to the show.
Yeah.
You said you were just finishing up this season, or you just finished filming?
Yes, we filmed
it
already, and they're editing it, and it's coming out in February in 2015 in the US.
Okay. Anything in particular? Any favorite memories from filming it that you can share?
Well, I can tell you, I'm very passionate about the community that we have created around the TV show. So not only do we have amazing fans that tweet all the time and ask us questions, because I think the goal of the show is to show that science is not just some boring topic that should be taught in schools with some complicated equations, but that science is in everyday life.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so the fans have, grown to question the world around them, and for me, that's just the biggest gift I could have gotten from it.
Wow. So it sounds like social media is a big part of this.
It's
show.
a big component.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. How do you feel going forward that it'll evolve in terms of anything else in terms of social media or fan interactions?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am getting ideas from people of videos that they want analyzed. So the audience is co-creating the show in a way, right? Because TV shows are no longer just produced by a person's idea, but now the audience is collaborating and creating and guiding the show where they want it to go. So I think that's a new experience that's going to evolve even more through more active social media engagement.
That sounds great. That sounds really exciting. And you were saying, of course, science isn't everything, and you're able to work with your fans and collaborate on making this show. Has anything so far in your filming? Science is unpredictable. Has anything come up that was entirely, you didn't predict it? It had normal
So I tell you what they do to us. So I only analyze the physics-related videos, and I'm not a biologist, so a lot of things, I probably could be very naive about some animals, kingdom, behavior. And so one time they show us fakes, and I was really surprised. So they showed us an eagle in a park carrying a toddler, like literally coming up to the little baby and being able to lift it and fly a few meters with it. And I was terrified, and I totally fell for it. I was like, oh yeah, of course if it had been a physics thing, I wouldn't have fallen for it. But this one, I was like, I'm sure, until they told me, no, that's a fake. So they want to see our reaction. So it gets pretty surprising. It's cool.
Okay. So so you're saying there's going to be a lot of surprises coming up.
Yes, definitely. People are going to be surprised that something's happening, and they're not going to know if it's a fake or if it's a real video.
Oh, okay. That sounds really exciting. So then what's next for you after finishing filming this?
Yeah, well, we are actually signing up for a 4th season. So we're continuing the show, and I'm also doing some other episodes for other networks. So I work also with the Travel Channel for their show Monumental Mysteries, explaining the science behind different monuments or phenomena that happens in the world. And then I also did something with National Geographic, and we're talking again about possibly continuing. It was a show called Humanly Impossible. That was really fun, about people doing, again, seemingly impossible things, like jumping off of 30 feet into a shallow pool of water and crazy stunts. And
then you analyze the physics to see if it could happen?
Exactly. And I would love to produce my own show. I have this idea that people study science through the eyes of books that have been written mostly by older white men. And, I came up with an idea of, a lot of girls cannot relate to all these examples of cars and pulleys, and, they're beautiful, and girls, of course, should be, equally capable of working with cars and engineering machines. But the truth is that they're not always exposed in equal amounts to that. And so if you come up with examples that other girls can relate to, then you're going to open science to a whole new diverse group.
That sounds really neat. So you're proposing that?
Yes.
That sounds really nice. I'd be very excited to watch that.
Thanks.
And I'm kind of, speaking of, it sounds like you're doing a number of, it sounds like what you're doing right now is even far and beyond kind of what you envisioned. Did you picture yourself being able to do these different shows?
Never, especially because I remember going back to Mexico and being with my mother, and she never really understood what was a PhD and why was I doing what I was doing. But now when she visits me here and she sees the impact of what I'm doing, then she can look back and appreciate, because now I think I'm sort of collecting the fruits of the labor, because I see all these young women excited about science and having successes.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't wait to hear more about all of the exciting projects you're working on.
Thank
I'm so glad
you.
you're
excited.
You're doing this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you kind of want to share?
No, just thank you to all the fans. Keep watching, and they can contact me. My Twitter handle is Debbie Bere, which is DEBBIE, B as in boy, ERE. Debbie Bere.
Oh, we just killed another tree.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And this is for what magazine?
It's called starrymag.com. Starrymag.com. Starry Constellation.
And when is it going to be on?
I probably early next week. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'll share it with them.
Wonderful.
Thank you.